UFO sightings have exploded into a worldwide phenomenon. But America's Southwest is without a doubt ground zero to the greatest UFO hotspots of all time. Roswell, New Mexico, and Area 51. These two sites and the events surrounding them represent the most hotly debated UFO mysteries in history. And thanks to the United States government's unprecedented secrecy, the public knows dangerously little of what really happened. Now, new evidence has surfaced that will blow this decades-long UFO conspiracy wide open, all revealing the shocking story the government doesn't want you to hear. From rogue CIA agents to startling accounts of advanced UFO technology, join us as the secrets of Roswell and Area 51 are unsealed. A global effort has begun. Secret files hidden from the public for decades, detailing every UFO account, are now available to the public. We are about to uncover the truth behind these classified documents. Find out what the government doesn't want you to know. Unsealed. Alien Files. Exposing the biggest secrets on planet Earth. Quantico, Virginia, April 2011. The FBI's official website is overwhelmed by traffic, triggered by the release of a mysterious 60-year-old memo addressed to former FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover. Its explosive contents may at last reveal the truth behind the biggest alien conspiracy of all time. Unsealed case file, the Guy Hotel memo. Guy Hotel was a former special agent in charge of the FBI's Washington field office. In a memo dated March 22, 1950, he records an eyewitness account of an incident in 1947 that would change the course of human history. The recovery of flying saucers crashed in the New Mexico desert. In the memo, Hotel states, they were described as being circular in shape, with raised centers, approximately 50 feet in diameter. Each one was occupied by 3 bodies of human shape, but only 3 feet tall. The 2011 release of this previously classified document sends shockwaves throughout the UFO community. It finally confirms what independent investigators have long suspected, that the U.S. government knows about the existence of extraterrestrials and has deliberately kept it hidden from the public. Many conclude the memo to be the first official account of the most infamous UFO case of all time, the Roswell incident. Unsealed case file, the Roswell incident. Roswell, New Mexico, 1947. On the night of July 2nd, the Wilmots, a local couple, see a glowing disc-shaped object plummet from the sky at a blistering speed. It disappears beyond a line of trees northwest of town. The Wilmots aren't sure they believe their eyes. The next morning, ranch worker Mac Brazel discovers a trail of metallic debris in approximately the same place where the Wilmots' flying disc disappeared the night before. Brazel collects some of the strange material and brings it to the local sheriff's office. The sheriff quickly notifies officials at Roswell Army Air Force Base that there has been some kind of air crash, and the base sends Major Jesse Marcel to the site to investigate. His son Jesse remembers the event in vivid detail.
He came back real late one night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, as I recall, very excited because he woke myself, my mother up saying they found parts of a UFO or a flying saucer.
The wreckage is unlike anything Marcel has ever seen. Nonetheless, the investigation under Base Commander Colonel William H. Blanchard starts out as routine.
People always talk about the cover-up of the crash at Roswell, but actually, in the very beginning, there was no cover-up. The Army stepped right up and admitted that there was a crash of a flying saucer at Roswell and that they retrieved that actual disc itself.
I was instructed by Colonel Blanchard to put out a press release, which in effect stated that we had in our possession a flying saucer.
July 8, 1947. The Army Air Air Force has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
The announcement is a bombshell. America has recovered a bona fide UFO. The story, naming the Wilmots as witnesses, quickly goes national and then international. The military is caught completely off guard. The next day, in a sudden about-face, they retract the statement, declaring the Roswell wreckage to be that of an ordinary weather balloon. It's a stunning reversal that raises many questions. Why did the military change their story? What did they really have on their hands? What were they trying to hide? Now, over 60 years later, eyewitnesses have come forward with stunning new details that will uncover the devastating truth behind the Roswell incident. This is Unsealed, Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth. Welcome back to Unsealed, Alien Files. Roswell, New Mexico, July 1947. A mysterious object crashes in the desert outside town. The U.S. military announces to the world it has recovered the wreckage of a flying saucer, only to retract the statement the following day. Many believe the military is hiding something. The question is, what? The Pentagon holds a press conference at which Major Jesse Marcel presents a sample of the material he allegedly recovered.
Marcel is asked to pose in front of that debris, and the Army then retracts the story of the crash at Roswell and says it's actually a weather balloon. In other words, Colonel Blanchard had to agree to make Major Marcel look like a fool in the eyes of all the media, basically putting his black mark on a career intelligence officer's military career.
This is my father holding up what is very obviously parts of radar target with balloon debris. This is not what was seen on the floor of our kitchen that evening or that late early morning hours in 1947. This is totally different.
The press conference is just one of many cover-ups surrounding Roswell, and some have deadly implications. The original news article cited the Wilmots as the only eyewitnesses to the crash. In reality, they were far from alone. There were multiple eyewitnesses that night, and unlike the Wilmots, many set out for the crash site to investigate, only to discover all routes cut off by military roadblocks. The troops on hand had a chilling message for any who approached.
He said, "You never saw anything. You were not there. You don't know anything." And he said, "We can just take you out in the middle of this desert and no one will ever find your bodies." He said, "You'll be nothing but bones and nobody will ever know what happened to you."
What secret could drive the military to resort to cold-blooded threats? The answer comes from a man who was on the actual crash response team.
We learned right then and there it wasn't a plane. The craft was opened halfway and one body was inside the craft. Then we radioed to have a truck, a flatbed, and a crane and everything else just come out to the side to clear everything off.
As the years pass, fewer and fewer witnesses to the original events remain, but some refuse to take their secrets to the grave. Unsealed case file, the Roswell Confessions. 2002, Walter Haut, the man behind the Roswell press release, produces a sworn affidavit revealing the details behind the original cover-up. In it, he provides a compelling first-hand account of his viewing of both the Roswell wreckage and the bodies of the UFO's alien crew.
Here's what really happened in the aftermath of the Roswell crash from the eyewitness. Lieutenant Walter Haut, Public Information Officer, and this was an affidavit. In a court of law, this carries enormous weight.
In 2012, a 35-year veteran of the CIA's clandestine services with high-level security clearance is working in one of the CIA's many vaults when he discovers a box simply marked Roswell. Inside, he discovers a startling collection of papers and photos that reveal what really happened that fateful night in 1947. Rather than continue the deception, he decides to tempt fate and go public. In his words, "I absolutely know that there was a craft from beyond this world that crashed at Roswell, that the military picked up remains of not just that wreckage, but cadavers, and all of that was made public for a short while." But what happened to the wreckage? And more importantly, what became of the alien bodies? Coming up next, answers to the biggest questions of our time may lie deep inside America's most infamous military base, Area 51. This is Unsealed, Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth. Welcome back to Unsealed, Alien Files. What happened to the debris from the Roswell crash? And where are the alien bodies rumored to have been recovered from the wreckage? The truth may lie in the most heavily guarded place on Earth. Unsealed Case File, Area 51, Declassified. Deep in the Nevada desert, 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas, is an unidentified American Air Force base. Some call it Dreamland. Others call it Paradise Ranch. The only official record of its existence lies deep inside a top-secret CIA file, where it is simply known as Area 51. Originally, the site was an airfield for bomber training units during the Second World War, and abandoned in 1946. But it wasn't long before the military finds a new use for the remote base.
Area 51 began as actually a research and assembly facility, an Air Force assembly facility for the development of the first spy plane.
Today, the area is cordoned off and the airspace overhead restricted. Unmarked security vehicles patrol the perimeter. Anyone daring to cross will be shot. Anyone daring to violate its airspace will be shot down.
This place was so secret that you couldn't even admit you worked in Area 51.
UFO experts believe Area 51 is the research and test facility of the Roswell crash debris. Was the Roswell wreckage really taken to Area 51? Has anyone who worked inside dared to go public to reveal the research going on inside the perimeter? According to Los Angeles Times writer Annie Jacobson, they have. Recently, she conducted an extensive series of interviews with former Area 51 employees. One engineer who worked at the site in 1978 confirmed the debris and bodies from Roswell were in fact taken to Area 51 for testing. But in a stunning twist, he goes on to say that they were in no way alien in origin. Unsealed Case File, the Soviet Stratagem. 1945. The war is over. Germany and Japan are defeated. But lasting peace remains elusive. America and the Soviet Union are now at odds, and the threat of another war is very real. Stalin knows the U.S. holds the upper hand with its new arsenal of nuclear weapons. To win, he must chip away at America's will to fight. Stalin devises an extraordinary plan. He intends to land an alien-looking aircraft flown by alien-looking pilots in the heart of the United States. His goal is to incite a UFO panic like that caused by Orson Welles with his 1938 radio adaptation of H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds. The Soviet saucer will be a modified version of a captured German aircraft known as a flying wing. But how to create plausible-looking alien pilots? For this, Stalin turns to the unlikeliest of allies, Nazi doctor Joseph Mengele. During the war, Mengele performed unspeakable experiments on human subjects at Auschwitz, where he became known as the Angel of Death. Stalin's agents seek out Mengele and ask him to put his terrible skills to work to create plausible-looking alien pilots. According to Annie Jacobson's source, Mengele experiments on teenagers, producing hideous deformities that bear a striking resemblance to the aliens described in the Guy Hotel memo. It's an evil plot, foiled only at the last minute by a bizarre twist of fate. Crossing into American airspace, the remote-control craft is caught in a storm that sends it falling from the sky near Roswell. Was Roswell really a Soviet plan to win the Cold War? Could the mountains of alien evidence at Roswell and Area 51 all be false? Or was Jacobson's source a government plant in yet another elaborate cover-up scheme? Another Area 51 insider tells a very different story. Bob Lazar claims to have worked inside Area 51 during the 1980s, where he conducted research on technology recovered from 9 different flying saucers.
Bob Lazar claimed that he was an engineer there and that his job was to reverse engineer the propulsion system of one of these craft. He had friends that he would bring out to Groom Lake on certain nights of the week so that they could see these things going up in the air.
Lazar has also revealed that the military wasn't just working with alien technology, it was actually working with the aliens themselves. And his description of them bears an uncanny resemblance to the aliens in the Guy Hotel memo. But if Lazar is telling the truth, then what has become of the futuristic aircraft built using alien technology? Coming up, we will hear the final terrifying truth about Area 51 from one of America's most respected aerospace engineers. On Unsealed, Alien Files, exposing the biggest secrets on planet Earth. What is going on inside Area 51? Is the military really experimenting with alien technology like that recovered at Roswell? Ben Rich was a director at Lockheed Martin's legendary Skunk Works production facility in Palmdale, California, from 1975 to 1991. In an interview conducted shortly before his death in 1995, Rich would reveal that American aerospace engineers have long been working with what he called hand-me-down alien technology.
He's famous for a statement that he made. Whatever you see out there, flying in the sky, cruising across the desert, we're 50 years ahead of that. In other words, we're already way ahead of what you think we have. Okay, that's interesting. Now, let's throw the ET component into it. If they've had one or more crash vehicles they've been studying for decades, then who knows how many years they are ahead. Maybe Ben Rich's statement is based on that.
Rich alleges this research was conducted under the direct oversight of the United States government until 1969, when Richard Nixon handed it over to an unidentified international board of directors. In his final days, Ben Rich realized this placed too much power in the hands of an elite few. The public had a right to know the disturbing legacy of Roswell and Area 51. Could the identity of Nixon's shadowy board of directors have been none other than the infamous Majestic 12? And if so, will they ultimately choose to use this advanced technology for the benefit of mankind or their own hidden agenda? This is Unsealed, Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth.